Good morning, everybody. I'm Melissa Colley, and I was asked to send you a couple words on how I am starting out my fall, just getting that energy back in after kind of a tough summer. So if you'd bear with me, I have 3 points that I want to share with you. So the first one is, I really want you to think like a CEO. So for some of you, you might be more of a casual seller, and every order or every party that you have really counts. But for some of you, you're really growing your business. And I'm going to ask you to look beyond those one-offs. I'm going to ask you to actually look at the bigger picture. For instance, when we talk about our marriages, we don't say, oh, my marriage is awesome because we had one hot date. We don't say, oh, my marriage is in the pits because you had one bad argument. You don't say that your kids are just really having trouble because they have one temper tantrum. Or you don't say they're angels because they crawl into bed and say, I love you, mommy, one time. We look at the bigger picture. We look at trends. We look at patterns. And that's what we use to analyze our businesses and our lives. So I want you to kind of look past August, look past the DC, because there's so much more out there. And if we just look at one little customer complaint or one back order issue, it can get overwhelming. But if we look at the bigger picture, we can kind of put those to the side and say, those are one-offs. I totally get it. I also realize that there's a lot of reasons why you could say no. You could say, this is too much work. You could say, I can't contact all of those people. But it's just kind of like that analogy about eating the elephant bite by bite, right? Pick off one customer to call. If you look at all of them and they all seem upset, that's going to be really overwhelming. That would paralyze me too. But if you're actually looking at what happens, one person's like, hey, it's no problem. The second person says, hey, just keep me informed. These are things we can deal with. This is okay. The other thing that I wanted to let you know is that I just saw the movie Overcomer yesterday. And it was such a blessing to see this movie and hear the message. And it's about cross country. And the message in it toward the end was that, you don't try to take over the lead runner. You just try to take over the one girl in front of you, and then the next girl and the next girl. And so when we're kind of coming back from some of the things that were difficult this summer, I want you to just do that. One order at a time, one customer at a time. The second thing I want to tell you is that get organized. Here it is, the back to school time. You probably have fresh notebooks. Kids are off to school. It might even be quiet in your house, which is amazing, just like my house. But you know what? Abandon the routine. And that might sound strange. You've probably had other speakers say to you, establish a routine, establish a schedule. Oh, I'm saying establish a routine, establish a schedule, but be prepared for it to go by the wayside immediately. Because the minute you say that you're going to commit to something, guess what? Your car's not going to start. Your husband's going to go on a business trip. One of your kids is going to throw up. You have to shovel snow, and things are going to rock that schedule. And the difference between commitment and a hobby is monitoring, adjusting when that schedule gets rocked. So go ahead, set up, say you're going to commit, but then if something happens, move it. So for instance, this morning I planned to go to the gym when I was asked to talk. So I could say it's a hobby for me, so I'm just not going to go, or I can say it's a commitment and I'm going to move it to another time in the day. So go ahead, get organized, but be prepared to have your world rocked and then move on. And the last thing is this too shall pass. That's my third point. In 2010, I was a consultant for a party where the hostess only had a $150 party. She only had 3 people there, despite my best efforts to hostess coach her. And because she was frustrated, she turned it to me and said, well, I just want to tell you that nobody liked you. And I was rocked. I'm a people pleaser. I was devastated. I was a leader by title, a director at the time. And I just thought, I can't do this. Clearly nobody likes me because she said it. And then my husband and I were talking recently, and he came up with this great quote that says, one drop of black can turn an entire world of white to gray. So friends, if you're focusing on one drop of black, if you're in a tough spot right now, I want you to really focus on all the white. If I had stopped when that hostess told me that nobody liked me, there'd be thousands of women who would have never joined my team. There would have been trips and memories made with my family through my commission that wouldn't have had. There would have been other families that we've been able to bless that wouldn't have been blessed. So I'm going to ask you, as you start the season, to look forward. Imagine what is to come. I know that's kind of hard to do, to picture what hasn't happened yet, but if you can kind of visualize who that next person is who's going to join your team that you can bless, who's that next hostess who's going to get her Christmas presents free, how are you going to positively influence others by looking forward and not focusing on the past? Just practicing the element of gratitude in the present and looking forward to the future. Again, 3 things. Think like a CEO, get organized and get ready to have your world rocked, and this too shall pass. Have an amazing fall.